So today we are going to be working on an attribute garden. So this will help us meditate and think on what attributes we want to grow and bring into our lives. So first thing you'll need is a sketchbook. Paper should be firm enough to hold watercolor. It doesn't necessarily have to be watercolor paper, but these I sell on my site. They're little sketchbook kits and they're just nice to have just because we feel a lot of pressure sometimes when we put things down on paper. So this is my safe place. So whatever I put in here, I don't have to be perfect and it can just be me processing on paper. So this is my safe place to do that. Next, you'll need some watercolor. I'm also using watercolor from my site. These are just so sparkly and fun and just make these projects a little bit more inviting and fun. You'll also need a pen to write down some intentions. And then of course you'll need water and a paintbrush. All right, let's begin. So first thing we are going to do is we are going to open up to a page. This is my brand new journal, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up to the second page just because I like to keep this first page as a title page sometimes. Go ahead and fold that, get it all ready. We're just going to be working on one page today, but what we're going to be doing is writing down our intentions. So we can go ahead and label it. I believe I spelled intention right, but again, this is a safe place. We can misspell words here if we need to, go correct them later. And so what we're gonna be doing is writing down our intentions or attributes that we want to bring into the world and into our lives and grow. So one of them is a word that I've been working on lately is grace. I really want to carry grace for myself. Another word could be love. Any words that you feel like you want to work on and grow in your life. You could also name this my attribute garden too, but we're growing these attributes with intention, so it could go either way. All right, so I have some words that I want to work on in my life. You could write as many or as few as you want to on your own page. And as you can see, I kind of have them spread out so you can write anywhere you want to on your page and worry about it later. And so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go in with our watercolor. And so we're making a garden. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make my ground green, but you can use whatever color you would like to just for the base of your garden. So with these glitter watercolors, sometimes they take a minute to activate. So I'm just gonna keep kind of massaging the water in the color until it's fully activated and all those fun little glitter pieces start to appear. And I'm gonna go ahead, and there's some bumps in my garden. It's not completely straight and pristine. So I'm gonna imply that by adding some slight hills. Then you can come in with your watercolor again. Then maybe there's another hill. Once your watercolor starts to get a little bit scratchy, then you need more. But I kind of like to play with it a little bit. And as you can see, I kind of have a small gradient here because I didn't load up my brush completely when I went in. I had more color on it than I did the water, but water helps it spread, so whatever you want your garden to look like. So now that we have the base of our garden, we're gonna start on our flowers, what we wanna grow in our garden. So whatever colors you want to use, you are able to. I don't have too many color options in this palette, but it was a cute little flower, so I thought it would be perfect for this project. I'm gonna go ahead and get all of my colors wet so it can start absorbing that water and getting ready to activate when I need them. And I think my first little flower should be this beautiful red orange. And so your flowers can look like however you want them to be. I like a typical 5 or 6 petal flower, and I'm gonna go around my word, but you can totally cover your word with color. This is your garden and you decide what it looks like. Get that last petal on there. Then I'm gonna go around in the inside and make it a little bit more circular. Such a pretty orange color. Orange is one of my favorite colors. I love fall. Next, I'm gonna go with another flower, and Joy, another favorite. I like all the colors, but I also adore blue. Comes in so many shades, but blue brings me joy, so I'm gonna go in with my blue for my joy. This time I'm gonna try something a little bit different. I'm gonna just do some lines to represent petals. I'm gonna leave those lines unfinished and we'll see how that looks. But remember, we're just experimenting. We're just trying new things. And I do kind of like how that looks, so I'm gonna leave it. I don't think I'm even gonna fill it in. We're inventing all kinds of new flowers. And with grace, it just seems like such a fancy word, so I'm gonna go in with this gold, get a little fancy with it. I think I'm gonna try some larger leaves this time. Might leave it blank too. I think that turned out pretty cool. So I'm gonna go to my next flower. I think I'm gonna use this pretty purple right in the middle. And then I think I'm gonna use this pretty purple for my word faith. It's an attribute I wanna grow in my life. Then I'm thinking about the design of my flower. And what came to mind were these little swirls. So again, I don't know how it's gonna turn out, but we're gonna try it. Then we have empathy. I think I'm gonna use this red because I haven't used this color yet. It's so pretty. It has all of these little tiny sparkles in it. This one looks so much fun to use. But I might add a little bit more water just so it can spread easier. And I think I'm gonna do the same flower we did the first time. Just a simple 5-petal flower. And remember, your flower garden can look however you want it to. You can use the same designs I did. You can just make them all simple little 5-petal flowers. It can look however you want to. All right, now we're gonna go in and add a nice stem to connect these words to our garden. And remember, everything has to have time to grow. So this is just a simple way to visualize what we want to keep growing in our lives. And so faith is one that I want to continue to grow. So I'm going to think about that as I draw my stem down and connect it to my garden. And I've connected it to my garden, to myself. I'm just spreading my paint out a little bit more. I had a lot on my brush there. And as I connected it to my garden, I'm thinking about, what does faith look like in my garden? How do I continue to grow faith? What does that look like for my life specifically? And then when you're ready to move on, you can start drawing another stem and another attribute you wish to grow in your life. Add to your garden. Empathy is one of my words. So I'm going to think about, how do I grow empathy in my life? What does that look like growing in my garden? I'm going to add some fun leaves as I think about those things. What does empathy look like growing in my life? What does empathy look like to me? How do I reach that? And when you're ready, you can move on to the next flower you have. And continue asking yourself those questions. What does empathy, what does grace look like? Or whatever your word is. What does that look like growing in your garden, growing in your life? What comes to mind when you think of grace? Positive, negative traits, positive and negative situations in your life. Is there anything you need to work on or change in your life to make this flower easier to grow in your life? Does any change need to take place in the garden, in the soil? Maybe your garden needs a fence. And just keep going, letting your thoughts take over as you continue adding to your garden. Maybe something is in the way of making your flower grow. Maybe there are some weeds that need to be removed. Maybe something has grown there before and you need to start replacing that soil before you are able to grow again. And once we're done, you can look at your garden and realize that these are all currently things growing in your life. The fact that we've written them down means we're currently thinking about these things, and we realize that we do want this change to happen in our lives, and therefore they've already started to take root and started to grow in our lives. And so with intention, you can look at all of these words and start thinking about how you've seen them in your life and how you want to continue seeing them in your life. If there's any actions you need to take, if you just need some more time to sit back and realize this is already taken root and it's already growing in my life. And then once you're finished, you can wash out your brush. And then take about 5 minutes and just be thankful for yourself for taking the time to do this activity. Thank yourself for taking the steps to grow. Thanking yourself for tending to your garden, because it is hard work, but look how beautiful it is. Friend, I really hope you enjoyed that 20-minute art meditation. I hope it helped to fill you up and inspire you. If you are interested in seeing more meditations, make sure to like, comment, follow, because it helps me out and helps motivate me to create more if I know you're enjoying it. Also, feel free to leave comments with your feedback, what you liked about the video, what you didn't, and what you want to see next. And hopefully I'll see you next time, friend.